8 years ago, when I decided I was going to learn software development and quit my dead-end job, it was because I was inspired by what I was reading and watching at the time. This material, these people, were telling me that I needed to spend a small percentage of my income regularly on learning, being educated in a number of important topics. Not just learning to code, as that was a given at the time, but learning business, learning about finances, how to communicate, learning how to unlearn all the unhelpful things that public school taught me. I still had that mindset from the previous generation, thinking that I was going to keep the same job and move up the corporate ladder for the next 40 years, receiving a paycheck every 2 weeks. Well, as much as it sounded like unhelpful advice, I started listening and learning. And the biggest thing that has helped me over the years, apart from my wife, and has been worth every single dollar times 10, is buying and reading books. And I feel like if I come across people who are stagnant in life, who are bored, stuck, uninspired, the first thing I'll assume is that you aren't a reader, or at least aren't reading regularly. Why? Because all of history's success and tips and wisdom and inspiration and failures have been captured in books, waiting for you to read. And you know those people out there? The world is in a wreck, it's hard on the little guy, the system has doomed us, and all those other cliche phrases that are picked up from other people who also aren't learning anything new. And you can tell that because they hate other successful people. I know people personally that just follow the rules. They never question anything. They blindly trust their doctors, they contribute to their 401k faithfully, knowing that they plan to work until 70 and live off of Social Security, which in 10 years may not return anything at all for all of the money that you were forced to put into it. They have a 30-year mortgage, they lay low at work so that they don't risk any personal conflict and potentially lose their job. They're swayed by the news station of their choice, they hate successful people, and they don't read. Ever. They don't search out solutions or meaning or alternatives to anything. They say the same things over and over, the same stories over and over, and they're just floating along in an unbelievably mind-blowing universe. Why did I cash out my 401k at 40? Because I learned that I could 3x that same amount in just 1 year without waiting 15 years to do it the traditional way. And where did I learn this? Well, not from any conventional advice, but it was a book. Just a passing page in a book that happened to mention how one family did that. It inspired me. It presented a new option, some new motivation to break from the norm of a mediocre life. In fact, whenever my inspiration or creativity or discussions with others seem to be drying up, it's almost always a sign that I haven't been reading on a regular basis. I can't count the number of times I've been reading a page in a book and a light bulb goes off for a new video idea, or a new approach to an app that I'm building, or some nice nugget that I can use in a future conversation. And perhaps that's the answer to your current fog as well. Imagine if you had read about self-taught programming at an early age and how people are doing it, motivating you to learn the craft before dropping 50K on a college degree or moving into another career that you dislike. Or if, instead of cowering away from public speaking, you sought out great books to hone the skill, or to develop your interaction and communication with others. Or maybe studying the personal MBA book instead of getting an MBA, or building your confidence and boldness by reading the next chapter of Musashi or Red Rising. And if your day-to-day is boring, read a great fiction book to stir up your imagination, or to stimulate your creativity or appreciation for the amazing world you already live in. So how do you do this? Perhaps you just don't like reading. Well, let me give you 7 quick tips. But before doing so, be sure to leave a comment below letting us know your 5 top books of all time so that we'll have some recommendations after this video. Number 1. Don't buy into this, I prefer physical books because I can touch them and I love the smell of paper and the feel of them and I can highlight in them and all that. I get it, sort of, well, aside from the smell of paper part, but I also just don't have room in my house or the desire for tons of books taking up space. Instead, I have those tons of books in a Kindle app on my iPad. And I can highlight too with my finger, and can automate the export of all those highlights into Obsidian, where I can connect and map them out to my own personal thoughts and notes in mental models. And I can take them all everywhere I go. And I get them at a click of a button for a cheaper price. And then there's Kindle Unlimited that gives you thousands of books for just a monthly price of like $7. And of course, you can check out Kindle books from libraries for free. Number 2, there are so many books out there that I just don't want to read all of. I just want to glean the main ideas out of them and discard the fluff. You know what I mean? The whole thing could have been written in half the number of pages because the same thing was being said over and over in 10 different ways. There are too many books out there and I just don't need all the info, but I often do want the nuggets from them. And this is where an app like Shortform comes in. Shortform gives you just that. And no, it's not Cliff Notes or a summary even. Shortform provides you with a guide that's been crafted to display the key points and insights of that book, clearly explained without all the fluff. And it's not AI, it's a team of people, real people, reading the books, making sense of the books, and giving us the goodies, with categories ranging from technology, to history, to finance, to business, and so on. So the books that I don't want to read end to end, but I do want to get the main points of, I use Shortform. Business books like Good to Great, or Start with Why, that have a lot of filler but great points, this is a great platform to read these on. And then there are coding books for me and you, like The Clean Coder. Here it says, in this summary you'll learn about 6 qualities and skills of a professional coder and how to develop them. And under that, I get all 6 qualities summed up for me. And I don't have to read the whole book. And then books like the Steve Jobs or Elon Musk biographies, or the Bitcoin Standard, I'm gonna read the whole thing. But books like Atomic Habits, How to Talk to Anyone, Extreme Ownership, Good to Great, I'm gonna read them instead on Shortform. Just 1 book per week on this app goes a long way. They also have articles on timely issues, I can listen to book summaries, and I can highlight and export those highlights to Readwise or Notion. And they publish new articles and guides every single week, and subscribers get to vote on what books to cover. And this video isn't sponsored by Shortform, but I do have a contact there, and they've given me a link, a special deal for you guys that will give you 5 days unlimited access and an additional 20% off an annual subscription. You'll find that link below. All right, number 3. What to read? Well, what are some areas of your life that you're really struggling with right now? Finances, communication, confidence, coding, business? Boredom? Well, identify those first and then seek out the best books in those areas. Books that will either teach you the skills you need to move forward, or books that will motivate you to become the person that you really want to be. And look, fiction books, yes, they're fiction, but they often portray some sort of message through some hero or group or colony or something like that that can spark some kind of motivation or character trait or wonder that you wouldn't just get sitting around the house basking in your boredom. In biographies, find good ones and read them. Then stop being so shallow and catch a vision. Number 4, audiobooks are the great alternative. Audiobooks have changed my life. When I'm driving or mowing grass or exercising or anything where you can multitask, audiobooks are a great way to read then. In fact, I prefer fiction books in audio form 99 times out of 100. Just get an Audible subscription, choose the 1 book a month plan, and start filling up your wish list. There's a whole different dynamic with some books that only come in audio form. For instance, C.S. Lewis's The Great Divorce, great book, but even better audiobook. There's a superb narrator that hits all the voices and changes the dynamic of the whole book. Number 5, if a book really sucks, don't feel obligated to finish it. Life is short. There are too many great books out there, and if one is a burden or becomes a burden halfway through it, ditch it. There's no shame in that. If it's a coding book or a book that's more technical, skip around. Don't feel bad for just picking out the sections that interest you or apply to your current interests or goals. Number 6, try to capture moments from the books that you want to revisit later. And also try to write about what you're reading, your analysis of it, or new thoughts that have risen after or while reading a book. And this is a topic for another video, but you can download an app like Obsidian or Craft or Notion or something like that and create a folder named Books and a file by the name of whatever the book is and make notes on the book in your words. Write about new ideas and formations that have come from you reading the book in a way that you can revisit and reference and learn from over time so that you don't forget it all. It helps you retain it better. Number 7, and finally, schedule time to read. Go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Get up 30 minutes earlier. Set up a reading corner in the corner of your room. And by scheduling time, I don't mean putting it on your calendar. That's not what I'm talking about, though you can. But I'm talking about associating some time of day or evening with reading and trying to do it a little bit each day. Like if you work from home and you're eating your lunch, just say, I'm gonna read during my lunch break, or I'm gonna read 30 minutes before bed. Get book recommendations from others and put them on a wish list, and make reading a part of your lifestyle. So, I wanna hear what you think. What are some of your favorite books or books that have impacted you the most? If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider doing so, and I'll see you in the next video.